Hey guys, welcome back to another pickups video, this time for the month of January of 2016. And as usual, I'm going to start with the new releases that I picked up during the month of January. And in this case, no surprise right here, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, so I had to pick up the Resident Evil Origins collection, which includes two games, in this case Resident Evil 0 and the Resident Evil 1 remake, which was originally released for the Nintendo GameCube. Now the interesting thing about this collection is that first of all, it's a great value. It's two great old school survival horror Resident Evil games for $40, so you can't beat the price for for these two games right here. And then of course we have Resident Evil 0, which up until this point it was only exclusive to Nintendo consoles. It was originally a Nintendo 64 title that switched development and it came out on the GameCube, and then it got ported to the Nintendo Wii. But this is the first time that you get to play the game outside of a Nintendo console. And of course then we have the Resident Evil 1 remake, which was already available for both the PS3 and the PS4 digitally, so this is a pretty good chance if you guys are into collecting physical media to get the Resident Evil remake and Resident Evil 0. Both are great games, old school type of Resident Evil games, and I love them both very much. So I had to double dip because I own both games in several forms. I have the GameCube versions, I have the Wii versions, I have the physical Asian version for the remake for the PS3, I have the digital version for the PS4 and the PS3, so Resident Evil overload in my collection, but I can never get enough of the old school Resident Evil games, so pretty excited to get this for $40 at a budget price. Now the other new release that I picked up is a game that already came out last year, but this one, it came out with a collector's physical collector's edition, and I'm talking about Life is Strange, which is an adventure, almost like a, I guess, visual novel, more like an adventure game, kind of like the Telltale games. And I was very excited ever since the game got announced. I had my eyes on the game, mostly because the developer Don Nod, I really enjoyed their work on Remember Me for the PlayStation 3 and 360. And I really enjoyed the art direction, and of course this game is a little bit different, the gameplay is completely different. Remember Me is an action beat 'em up basically, whereas this is an adventure game. But I was very excited when they announced a physical release for this with all the episodes, because originally this was an episodic type of game. So I had to get the collector's edition, which is only like $40. Which came with a pretty cool old school looking soundtrack CD. It looks like an old school 90s CD jewel case, which is the thick one, and it has a lot of songs, 22 of them, so that's pretty cool. And then it came with a small art book, which I haven't really flipped through it because I don't want to, maybe it has some spoilers, and this being a history-driven game, I don't want to spoil it too much for myself. And finally, of course, we got the physical game, Life is Strange, the limited edition. So very excited to fire this up and play this game, because when it was announced, I was already excited for it. So I'm pretty happy to see a complete limited edition come out, and for $40 you can't go wrong buying this game. So pretty happy to have that. And that's the end of the new releases. I know there were other games that I was interested in picking up, such as Paper Mario Jam, I think it's called, for the 3DS, but decided to hold off and see if I can pick that up later in the year. So since we're talking about PS4 games, I'm going to talk about some PS4 games that I bought during the month of January. And I got a pretty good deal on this game right here, the game you see on the background, which is Guilty Gear Xrd Sign. A fighting game, and I had the itch to play a good fighting game, and I had my eyes on this game for quite some time, and it just never received a price drop. And I believe there's a sequel to this game coming up, so the game finally dropped down in price to around $20. So decided to pull the trigger and get it for the PS4, and I've been playing this, and it's a really fun game. There's a lot of advanced mechanics that are typical of modern games, but at the same time there's a lot for old school fighting fans such as myself, which I just want to pick up and play the game, not necessarily learn all the ins and outs, the combos and everything. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. It's pretty entertaining, and the game looks absolutely amazing. The sprite work, the cell shading type of look of the characters, it's absolutely amazing. And as you can see here in the background, the game has a pretty cool cinematic anime type of cinematic sequences that are really fun to watch. So Guilty Gear Xrd Sign for the PS4, a very fun fighting game that I've been enjoying lately. Another game that I had my eyes on, and I don't know if I already showed this in a previous pickup video, but I picked it up like about a month or two ago. I'm talking about Akiba Strip. I think I already showed this. I'm not really sure. No, I don't think I showed this. I got it last month, and originally this came out on the PS3 and on the Vita, but then a PS4 version got announced with improved frame rate and slightly improved graphics. So I figured I'm gonna wait a little bit, see if the PS4 version drops down in price, and sure enough, I think Amazon had it for like 24 bucks, which is a pretty good price. I already know what I'm getting into. I've heard that this game is somewhat repetitive in terms of gameplay. It's some kind of beat 'em up, hack and slash type of action game that features, you have to strip the characters of their clothing in order for them to die, because once they're exposed to the sunlight, then that's the enemy's weaknesses. So that's the whole, I guess, hook to the game. You have to undress the characters, and it's another quirky Japanese game published by Xseed here in North America. So pretty excited. And cool thing about Xseed, I really like about them, it comes with a full-fledged color manual, which is somewhat of a rarity nowadays. So looking forward into playing this, even though I think I know what I'm getting into, a short and somewhat repetitive type of game, but looks interesting enough for me to give it a try. Now, another two games that I picked up over a month ago, and I'm just trying to catch up with my pickups videos. I don't want to do pickup videos that I have a million games to show you guys, so I'm kind of like dissecting my purchases, and so I can show you small portions each month. And these two games, like I said, I picked them up over a month ago. The Square Enix online store was having some kind of pretty good sales, and I picked up two very well-known Nintendo DS RPGs. The first one is a classic Chrono Trigger. It's one of the most celebrated RPGs of all time. And back in the day, I remember renting this game, and I was never able to beat it before I returned the game. So it's one of those games that I enjoyed it back then, but I never bothered to coming back to it. And now that I own the game, I have no excuses. I really have to play this, because it's one of those staple RPGs that it's always among the top 5, top 3 lists that publications out there make. So yeah, Chrono Trigger, the DS versions on top of that, it's supposed to be the best one with the best loading times, and it includes all the cinematic sequences that were found in the PS1 version. And like I said, you don't have the loading times to worry about. So definitely the definitive version here for the Nintendo DS, and I'm really happy to have it for a very, very good price. I was actually surprised at how cheap these games were in the Square Enix store. But even more so, I was surprised that they're still selling like DS games, PlayStation 1 games. It's pretty crazy. And the other Nintendo DS game that I picked up, it's another RPG that I've heard so many good things about this one, and I just haven't tried it. I never tried the game, and it's The World Ends With You, which is another very celebrated RPG for the Nintendo DS that is supposed to have a very unique setting and a very unique cast of characters and very unique type of gameplay as well. So The World Ends With You, I was able to pick this up again for really cheap, so I'm excited to try the game out and see what it's all about, because I've heard a lot of good things about The World Ends With You for the Nintendo DS. And we're gonna move on to the 3DS now. I picked up two very cheap titles here. The first one is Pro Evolution Soccer 2013. Now, why would I pick up a soccer game that it's like already 3 years old? Well, 2013, this game to begin with has the Copa Libertadores license, which is a South American club tournament that I really enjoy watching. And 2013 was a special year because my team reached the finals. So it's somewhat of a commemorative pickup, if you want to call it that. And I saw this game drop down in price to like $6 at Walmart. And it's funny because I did a pickup in store. For some reason they did not have ship to home, so I had to ship the game to a store and picked it up there, which is it's cool because it's a free store pickup, right? And I went there, picked up my game, got home, and when I opened it, it had a big sticker saying that the game was used. And the online listing was for a new copy of the game, but I did not complain or anything. I did not go and return the game for $6. It's like, you know, I'll keep it. And it came with a pretty good condition. It's basically in new condition. Came with the manual and everything, and the game is inside my 3DS because I've been playing this. So yeah, a pretty cheap game, and again, nothing spectacular. It's an old soccer game, but for me it has somewhat of a meaning, so happy to pick that game up. And the other one is a game, Gravity Falls. Oops, almost dropped the case. Gravity Falls for the Nintendo 3DS, based on a Disney animation cartoon or show. I don't know anything about the show, but I've seen gameplay footage of this game, and from what I've seen, the game looked really fun. Also, Leo, you know, the funny nerd, he did a small review for this game, and I have to agree with him. This game is very short and very easy. I may do an impressions video on this because I already beat the game. It's very short, but it's not very enjoyable, unfortunately. But I figured, you know, the game was so short that it was over before I could even decide if I wanted to keep playing the game or not. So very short game, but really glad I picked it up because it was cheap, and the game does look very good because it runs on the Ubi art engine that powers the Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins and Child of Light and other pretty cool, pretty good looking games by Ubisoft. So happy to have picked this up on the cheap. Short but not very sweet experience overall. And that's the end of the games. Now I'm gonna do gaming stuff that is related to games, but they're not necessarily games. And I'm gonna start with a plushie. I don't really collect plushies a whole lot. I have a Mario plushie that I showed you guys a couple of months ago, but I really wanted to pick this guy up. This is a Fox McCloud plushie by World of Nintendo, and I saw C-Stove, one of the YouTubes that I follow here on YouTube. He showed this in his pickup video, and he mentioned that, you know, Target has these Fox McCloud plushies, among others. You know, they have some Zelda ones, some Mario ones, but I really wanted to get a Fox plushie. It's pretty rare to see Star Fox merchandise out there, so I decided to go and take a look. And let me just say, guys, that I drove to 5 different Targets to get this damn guy. Not even with Amiibos. I went on a frenzy, you know, from place to place. But for this guy, I did, because I really wanted to get a plushie of Fox McCloud. And of course, they have these guys on eBay, but they're way more expensive. The retail price for these guys are I think $7, like $6.99 or something like that. And I was finally able to find one at a... I have a bunch of Targets nearby, so fortunately I did not have to get out of my way too much. But I found the last one at this very secluded Target in this secluded area, so I was very happy to get him. And he's a pretty nice quality. He has his you know, helmet thing going on here, and he has his jacket and everything with the name tag and everything. So I'm pretty happy to have this because, like I said, it's pretty rare to see Star Fox merchandise out there. So thank you, C-Stove, for the heads up, because if it wasn't for his video, I would have not known that this guy was available for purchase. So happy to have Fox McCloud in my gaming area here. And last but not least, Amiibos. Lucas was released, and I was able to pre-order him and get him without any major problems. I bought him through Best Buy, and he looks pretty cool. I still have to get Ness, which is the other Earthbound character. He was a GameStop exclusive, and I'm still waiting for a reprint of that guy, which I'm crossing my fingers it'll happen at one point, because I'm still missing Ness from my collection. But here's Lucas, which he pertains to the Smash Brothers series of Amiibos, and I had to do this, guys. I know my concentration for Amiibos is the Super Smash Brothers series, but they were the Animal Crossing Amiibos. For some reason, I don't think they're selling that well. So some stores have them for very low prices, and sure enough, that was the case with these two guys right here. Both Tom Nook from the Animal Crossing series. Some people like to refer to him as the antagonist of the Animal Crossing series because he's the one responsible for you have to pay him back your mortgage or your house loan payments, and a lot of people refer to him as the villain of the series, even though he's not. So I had to pick this guy up because it was only like $5 through Amazon. So I'm not really sure what the hell is going on, but for $5, there's no way I could say no to freaking Tom Nook, which is a pretty fun character, a pretty cute character in the Animal Crossing series. So decided to pick him up along with Mabel, another character from the Animal Crossing. She's, I think, the one responsible for doing your clothing, I think, in the Animal Crossing games. She was a little bit more expensive. I think she was like $8. But again, a discounted price when compared to the regular $12.99 price tag that these guys have. So I'm gonna try and be very careful. I don't wanna have my house explode with Amiibos. But I figured if there are Amiibos that I really kind of like, or if they're dirt cheap like these guys, I will pick them up. And I opened my Amiibos. They're in the box for the purpose of this video, but I will open them all up, which is really convenient because I'm running out of room. I have my Amiibo shrine over there. I may do a video where I show it, and I'm starting to run out of room, even though I already have all my Amiibos open, and it's starting to get pretty damn crowded up there. So we'll see if I can find some kind of Amiibo solution here so I can display it in a proper way. Digital games. I wanna make one quick shout out. I picked up the regular digital games through PlayStation Plus, Hardware Rivals, and a couple other games. The quality of PlayStation Plus, in my opinion, is dropping a little bit. I'm not a pretty big fan of the games that they have been offering. But Xbox Gold, they had Killer Instinct Season 1, which is freaking amazing. I've been playing that game a little bit, but the one thing that I was excited the most was Killer Instinct Classic. That came bundled with the Season 1, and that is basically the arcade game for Killer Instinct. So I was so excited to play that game, and I've been playing that a little bit here on my Xbox One, and it's been really fun. I'm a huge fan of the original Killer Instinct, the original arcade version. So to have that game, available for me now without having to buy the arcade cabinet or emulating through MAME, it's fantastic. So I was very, very excited to pick that game up for free. It was part of the Xbox free games. And another pretty long anticipated release was Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance on the Virtual Console for the Nintendo Wii U. I picked that up day one. I think it was like $7 because it's a Metroid game that I always wanted to play. It's basically a remake or remaster version of the original NES Metroid game. So I'm pretty excited because I never owned that game. I never was able to play it. So I was able to purchase it day one. I just have to find myself the time to play the game now because I've been very, very busy with work. But I digress. I've been rambling for a little bit here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.